Alright guys, I'm back and I want to give you a little update on my Atari Raspberry Pi box thingy. If you happen to watch my last video, I got a few views on that, but if you happen to watch that video and you're interested in where I'm at, I left off with sort of the basic body done, but I didn't have any I/O. I just kind of have a blank spot here. So my next step was to sort of create, a mounting area and I/O, for the Raspberry Pi. So I have done that. First off, here's the I/O panel, and here I have Raspberry Pi goes here. We have this is USB power. These are RCA. I've got left, right, and composite, as well as HDMI. And then I have cables that will attach in there. This mounts, and you notice this is flat here and this is taller. So I also had to create a new back piece. This one you'll notice is inset so that this can mount in there. And then also has mounting holes for the I/O panel. So I'll be able to screw the I/O panel in there. And those screws are countersunk. I don't know if you see that right here. And the other three screws, I needed something to mount the Raspberry Pi to, and so I have a little tray, and that's what this is for. And then these, scoot that back. This is where the I/O panel sort of attaches, sort of like that. That's how that's going to be. Now, the modeling for these pieces weren't quite as straightforward as the modeling for the body itself. Let's turn that around. So I'm going to switch over to Fusion and show you how I made these. I'll try to be fast. So don't expect a detailed, tutorial, but I'll show you, what I did to make these, and then we'll move on to putting things together. All right, let's go there. Okay, I'm sitting here in Fusion, and I just wanted to go over, the sketches and how I made these final pieces. I didn't really use any advanced techniques, but I'll show you what I did. So this is the sketch that I used to make that back segment. It's basically the same sketch as my other segments. I actually just copied it and pasted it into a new file. And the main difference here is I just added a couple lines because I needed the main area here to be inset into that back piece by 3 millimeters, so it can accept my I/O panel. That's really the only difference between this object and the previous back piece. So yeah, it's pretty much the same sketch I showed you before. And then here is it extruded out. So there's the key that fits into the previous segment, and then you can see it's inset by 3 millimeters. I also added some mounting holes so I can attach the I/O panel solidly, I guess, and that was it. Let me show you the I/O panel. Okay, so here's the sketch I used to create the I/O panel. This is on my original, in my original save. And here's the I/O panel. So it's basically the inner part of that last sketch that I showed you. And so first I had to create the panel itself. So I just extruded in half and then mirrored it and combined it. And at that point it was just it didn't have the openings for the I/O, and to get the I/O you know, sort of cut out. I had it. Here's the sketch I used for that. Let's take that away, and this. And this was just a lot of measuring and then making some circles and squares, but nothing, you know, really basic stuff, to be honest with you. And once I had everything measured out and laid out, I could just extrude these as a cut into the I/O panel. Let's get rid of that. So the screw holes do have have a little indent there so that the screw heads will be flush. So I also made a tray for the Raspberry Pi to mount onto, and this is there's really nothing to this. The only interesting thing about this body is, you know, I had to measure out some mounting holes, and I have this is where I'm mounting the I/O bracket to this, so it's one piece that slides in and out, and you know, these are braces as well as mounting points. Pretty basic stuff. And there. Okay, so that's the I/O panel and the tray, and kind of how I put it together. What I think is interesting about this, because like I said, I didn't use any advanced techniques for this. It's just lines, circles, and squares. And in the end, I feel like, you know, I ended up with an object that's somewhat complex, and as you'll see, it works really well. So let's leave Fusion here, and I'll show you how this thing all went together. Okay, I am back, and I hope you got something out of that, or I don't know, maybe you skipped through it. It's whatever, it's fine. I know that a Fusion tutorial isn't really the most exciting thing in the world, but maybe someone could get something out of that. Anyway, let's get these things put together. I'll show you. Here was a prototype. And this, I got on this particular piece, I have the Raspberry Pi on the wrong side. You can see the I/O that's on the board itself. There's no room for any wires to come out. So in the other version there, it's on the other side. And these holes right here, they're a little bit too high. So I moved those a little bit too. So I don't know. I'm assuming that my new version is going to fit better than this, but I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, let me show you what it looks like inside. Okay, so here's the cable management, which I think looks pretty good. I don't have anything locking these down, but I don't think it needs it. Just the force of the connections just kind of are keeping it in place. And the board itself, it's not being torqued at all. So yeah, pretty happy with this. You can tell I still need to wire up the RCA jacks, but I'll get to that. Okay, let's put it in and finish up. Okay, well guys, that is it. That is it. So far, I am really happy with where I'm at. And really, I could use this as is. It just glue it up and put it on my entertainment center and just you know, play some games. There are a few other things I want to do. I do want to wire in a power button, and there are a few techniques I can wire in sort of a soft power down for the Pi, which is better than just a hard switch that turns off the power. And you know, I need to wire up those RCA jacks. But yeah, we're getting there. We are getting there, and I'm really happy with the project. It's been a really fun, smooth project, to be honest with you, because so far I haven't had too many problems. But it's been pretty smooth sailing, outside of, you know, ordering some parts and having to wait for them. But yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. And guys, I really appreciate you watching, and I hope you got something out of it. Anyway, you guys take care, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.